It's Harvey Goldglantz, and I am the author of the marketing book, Marketing Matters, the ultimate reference guide to making the most out of your marketing money. And I'm going to be speaking with you today about how you can put to use some of the suggestions and recommendations that I write about in my book. And that's Fred Willey. Fred, welcome. And Fred is the president of Invader Pest Management in Glendale, Arizona. And I'm also proud to say that Fred's company is a leader in Glendale and Phoenix, Arizona area. I'm also proud to say that Fred has been a valued client of mine for over 7 years, so he can tell you firsthand phase. Fred, really what I'd like to focus on with you today is the specific marketing and advertising in which you put to use some of my recommendations. First of all, how much did you allocate to your marketing program? How much do you allocate today to your marketing program?
Today we allocate approximately 6 to 9%. In the past, I don't know that we measured it. That was one of the biggest things that we learned was to measure. And I would imagine at a particular point in time, if we put 2%, we were probably lucky.
So you've significantly increased your marketing investment since I began working with you.
Absolutely.
Do you find that there is a direct relationship between the amount of percentage of money you expend on marketing and your return on investment?
Yeah, I have to say that. I mean, the biggest thing is that we really try to measure the response that we're getting off of our ads. When you put something out there, you can't find out if there's a return if you don't know what you're getting back. So we really had to put into place. We weren't always good at it. It's taken some time to really learn how to measure, make our systems work better too, to keep that information in there, make sure that all the information was spread across the girls taking the phone calls. I mean, obviously, if they don't notate where we got the phone call from, then you have no way to track it. So tracking has become huge.
Well, I know that working with you, you have been a great student of understanding how important it is to do strategic planning, but most of all, strategic tracking. I would say out of almost all of my clients, Fred has been the most fastidious about putting into place almost every single tracking system, tracking advertising leads, tracking sales leads, tracking conversion rates of sales leads turning into sales calls, into sales closes. You've spent a lot of time doing that, and I want to congratulate you on that. Why don't you speak to our viewers about directory advertising, for instance? How do you look at that today versus how you looked at it 7 years ago? And why don't you speak a bit also about the transition into web-based advertising and the importance of your website has been in your evolution?
Okay. Well, I really believe that in today's environment, yellow page ads are quite expensive, number one. We've talked a lot about, getting our return, we know how much we get back on, but we find that the more dollars that we put into it today doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get those same dollars back in investment. So we've actually started to spread the costs now to reduce the amount of money that we put into a yellow page ad and then slowly work our way into marketing off of the internet. But, of course, I was happy to say, hey, Harvey, let's just dump all this right off the bat. And Harvey, slow down, because you still have people that use the medium because you have to kind of look at the different target markets that you have out there. Some people are still very adept into the yellow pages, and that's what they use. And your younger crowd now is more about just going in online and look it up. So we're trying to take a certain balance of the money that we spend and apply it in the right direction.
And that's all part of your strategic plan.
Absolutely.
Of watching which way the market is going and adjust your plan via the market indicators.
Exactly.
How do you keep yourself, and I think you're very good at this, and I think that many of the viewers can probably learn from this, how do you keep yourself from making shoot-from-the-hip decisions?
Well, that wasn't always easy.
I know it wasn't.
Well, I think that the most important thing is I just to seek wise counsel. That's probably the first thing, is I try not to make all the decisions on the fly. You make a couple phone calls, you have people in place like Harvey, like a good CPA, a good attorney, and you go across asking people the questions. Here's what I'd like to do, what's your input, what do you think? And so that slows me down. Also too, I tended to have a lot of ideas And learning to prioritize is probably my number one need. It's what I'm trying to focus the most on, is to prioritize all the ideas and the decisions so that, you know, we don't spend all the money on everything and then not have anything that's really valuable.
Why don't we speak a bit about, I know that you've been one who has seen the value also in training your technicians, not only in the technical aspects of their job, but also in customer service areas. Has that been a valuable tool for you?
Oh, absolutely. We probably spend the majority of our time doing customer service training, especially with the younger employees. I mean, some of these people that come to work for you don't even really know how to shake a man's hand. You know, so we really focus on, you know, that part of the customer service, looking in the people's eyes, you know, when you go to knock on the door, step back, you know, all the different types of steps so that, you know, especially if you're a big burly guy, you know, standing in front of a lady behind a door kind of wondering, wow, who's this big guy? So we spend a lot of time doing that kind of training. We also push the value with a lot of stuff Harvey talks about is what's the value. And that's extremely important that these guys understand that customers, especially in today's environment, they'll still spend the money, but they won't waste the money. So you got to make sure that they feel that they're getting something that's valuable. So we do a lot of that through the, you know, through exceeding expectations and that sort of thing, and teaching those types of techniques to our technicians.
So you're actually selling value then, rather than price.
Absolutely.
And you find out that that's key to your success.
Yes.
And I think that our viewers could also learn from that, because a lot of the comments that I get from people who walk up to me are, it seems to me that when I go to raise my prices, I have a problem. Well, you only have a problem if you're not delivering value to your customers. And in the book, I talk about how important it is to deliver value. When you deliver value and continue to exceed people's expectations, that gives you the right to raise your prices, and and you do not have the aggravation of worrying about cancellations as long as you're providing value. And in my book, I talk about how important it is to raise your prices consistently, except, of course, when there is a major recession occurring. Fred, I want to thank you for speaking with us today. I want to thank our viewers for being here and watching this podcast. And I would invite all of you to pick up a copy of my new book, Marketing Matters, the ultimate reference guide to making the most of your marketing money. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.